neighbor's dog friends, and he comes over here on occasion to say hi. So I was just snacking, and I think he smelled it. He came over and he was like, "What you got, girl? What you got?" And then he leaves. So I hope you're so well wherever you are in this right now. This is the spiritual dimension of wellness, one of my faves. And I wanted to share something today that has helped me in my health, my healing journey, my recovery, my process of life. And, you know, um, and it's an interesting subject because of the space of recovery. Um, I have spent many years taking drugs and drinking alcohol and doing a whole bunch of other nonsense to completely distract myself from healing, really from feeling and healing. And it started when it began when I started smoking marijuana when I was around 14. And that was a way for me to get out of my mind and not feel um what I was experiencing in my life. And I quit smoking marijuana like on and off, but like for a really long time. At one point during my marriage, and then after that I didn't smoke it for a long time. And I realized like, oh my God, I was using marijuana as a drug, and I know now that by me doing that back then, it probably kept me from suicide. Because it would be like a time where I was feeling peace or joy or like whatever. I wasn't feeling so heavy and so for me, marijuana probably actually kept me alive. Um, and so over the years, I experienced other drugs. And some of them were in the form of pharmaceuticals, and others were in the form of, I was going to say plant medicines, but I didn't use plant medicines to escape. Other than marijuana back in the day, it was always like alcohol or other like pharmaceuticals or stuff like that. Um, and so what I wanted to talk about today is actually plant medicines. So here I am in Costa Rica, and literally the earth is providing plant medicine all the time. I literally have lime trees on the other side of this house. There's an orange tree there. There's a star fruit tree, tangerines, um, and two grapefruit trees. Yeah, I think that's it. Just here, just on this little property, and all of that is medicine, right? Like all of those foods are medicine. They are plant medicine. And I'm here in basically the jungle. Like the whole country is almost a jungle. So like the amount of plant medicines that are here is is abundant. It's abundant. Like it's not uncommon for people to have ayahuasca ceremonies and all these other medicines, kambo, bufo, um, like psilocybin, all types of plant medicines are used for spiritual practices. So, what I want to talk about is my own personal experience with some plant medicines that I had used at some point in my life, not as medicine, but as a harmful substance. And one of them is tobacco, and one of them is cacao. And those are the two plant medicines that, well, cacao, I still use it tremendously. I use it in my almost daily life. I hold ceremonies with it. It's sacred chocolate, but it's completely like almost raw, and it's harvested very reverently. And the medicinal properties of cacao is massive. like not just the chemical aspects of it. It literally opens up our lungs. It helps our heart, increases blood flow to the heart, increases inspiration. It gives us feelings of bliss and love and euphoria. It's not psychoactive. You don't see anything. You literally just feel love. And it's not like MDMA where you're like, ah, you're literally just like, oh my God, she's a beautiful plant medicine. I refer to her as she. She's a consciousness. She's the wisdom keeper. She reminds us of ancient earth wisdom, that we are that and that we have that within us. And that when we really feel the love for ourselves and our connection to the earth, then who we show up as is vastly different than someone who doesn't love themselves and is very disconnected to the earth. It's a very different reality of people. And so cacao has been really a really big part of my own healing journey. When I take her in ceremony, when I ingest her in ceremony, like the amount of love and compassion and healing and clearing that I experience is profound. And when I hold it in ceremonies for others, what I witness in their reflections is that it's also very profound for them. And I had misused it growing up. I ate chocolate like it was my job. I love chocolate. I would be like, Russell Stover, gobble, 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 Hershey Kisses, M&Ms, yeah, like all the time, like Little Debbie, here's, Swiss cake rolls all day, little brownies, like whatever. And I was misusing chocolate, because it's been bastardized and commoditized in our culture so much that all the nutrients have been taken out, the spirit has been taken out. It's literally just like so mass produced and filled with sugar and chemicals and so processed that it literally doesn't have the phenylethylamine in it. It doesn't have the anandamide in it, and it doesn't have the theobromine in it. And those are the three like constituents that are super medicinal for the body, the mind, and the spirit. So I totally misused that. I abused her so much. And now I don't, I formed a new relationship with her. When we use plant medicines, it's a part of a spiritual practice. Indigenous people have been using it since like forever. Any being that's connected to the earth understands deeply the medicine of what she gives us. And it can support our healing through PTSD, through trauma, trauma responses. So powerful healing. So one of the plant medicines that I used to really abuse, and I didn't even realize it was a plant medicine until a couple years ago, and it was tobacco. So I used to smoke cigarettes. I used to smoke a pack a day, and I quit. I haven't smoked cigarettes in, I don't even know, it's been many, many years. And I still don't smoke, but what I will do on occasion is something called rape or hape, depending on the culture from which you receive it. And it's a tobacco snuff of sorts. It's ground tobacco and it's blown up the nose. And it is a very grounding medicine. It can be a purging medicine. You can throw up, you can poop. It can clear your mind, it can clear your heart. And what it did for me was it cleared a lot of the guilt actually that I had around the abuse of that medicine, of that spirit. I used to just smoke a cigarette out of habit. I used to smoke a cigarette um, to calm my nerves, not understanding that it actually increases the heart rate and increases anxiety. We smoke the cigarette because we feel like we need it. It's because we're having withdrawal symptoms. That's actually what it is. Um, I keep looking down because there's some ants and I don't want them to bite my toes because I've learned that I don't like ant bites. It's amazing. I don't like it. Um, so anyway, when I really sat with Rape in ceremony with grandfather tobacco, I realized the amount of abuse that um, I realized the amount of abuse from my end toward this sacred medicine. Um, and I saw really clearly the distortion of this medicine in our society. That it's been mass produced, genetically modified, harvested, chemically altered with literally carcinogens. Tobacco itself is not carcinogenic. All the chemicals they add, though, are, whether it's to the filter or to the tobacco itself. And it's turned into a deadly addictive product in our culture. And it's actually a really healing, sacred, ancient medicine. And when that really came through, I was like, whoa, like I cried a lot. Ouch. Um, because I was like, I had a lot of shame. I had a lot of shame for how I treated that plant and how I treated my body as well. Like I was abusing the tobacco and I was abusing myself. And that didn't feel good. It felt kind of crappy actually. And so now when I sit with it, which isn't very often, it's like special occasion for me. Um, it's a lot of masculine grandfather kind of healing for me. And the amount of it's like it holds the space for healing work. I've mentioned before that we gotta feel our feelings to heal them, and we get to have like love and compassion and acceptance around all of it to actually heal it. And sometimes I'm busy, like my mind is going. I'm thinking about what I need to do next, and da, 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 da. So when I drop into meditation, usually I'm just like, I just need a blank slate for a little bit, and it takes more work for me to like go in and do this healing work. So for me, my guides have been cacao and other medicines like hape or rape. And I'm sharing this because it's a very touchy subject because people who are in a recovery program don't want to get addicted to anything else, right? And I've known people who've been addicted to everything, right? I see people that are in recovery that are addicted to sodas, that are addicted to Gatorades, that are addicted to cigarettes, that are addicted to all types of sugar because it's feeding the same trauma and giving the same dopamine hit. I've also seen people that are, um, they're not necessarily addicted to rape, but they get into like a misusing pattern, and that's what they do. They find something that makes them feel better because they can't tap into the feeling better themselves, and so they lose the reverence for the plant, and they use it multiple times a day and every day, and next thing you know they have clogged sinuses with a tobacco powder, and that's not what you want. You don't want to have like compacted sinuses with anything. Ugh. This is also coming from the girl that never snorted anything. Like that's not been my medicine ever. Thank God, y'all. That would have been a killer if I would have ever done the drugs that like that require you to snort shit up your nose. Uh-uh. I never did it because I couldn't figure it out. Thank God. Because I really think that would have been like super addictive for me, and I probably would have died. So cheers to living as I drink my probiotic tea. But we have uh, um, we have so many plant medicines that can help us on our journeys. And, there are ones that are still illegal. Um, so I'm not going to talk about those. I want to talk about sacred tobacco, and I want to talk about cacao. Even tobacco, I was sitting in a 6 hour Inipi sweat lodge once with some Colombian shamans. And um, we were sitting with different medicines, and the shaman had rolled this like big tobacco blunt of sorts. and he was like smoking it, but he wasn't inhaling it. It was part of the ceremony, it was a part of the ritual, and it was calling upon the grandfather tobacco, and it was clearing the air and calling in great spirit and the spirit of the grandfather and this divine masculine, and it was, and he was doing all this, but he wasn't like smoking, inhaling and blowing out, because apparently tobacco is not even made for our lungs. It's not. It's that's what I was told by shamans and indigenous people from different traditions. Tobacco is not made to be inhaled. And here we are growing in a society where not only do we inhale it, but we fill it with chemicals. But when we sit with a pure form of a plant as a medicine, we connect with the consciousness of it, right? This is the spiritual dimension of wellness. So what's the point? It's that we connect with our spirit, great spirit, the spirit of the plant. We have plant allies. They are brilliant wisdom keepers. And the amount of clearing that I've experienced when I've sat with Rape is huge. I'm talking like before it even goes into my body and into my bloodstream, and I'm holding it sacredly to my heart, and I'm saying my prayer and setting my intention with it. Like a lot of times, like 90% of the times, I start to tear up and well up and start to feel this deep love from me for this grandfather medicine, but also from this grandfather medicine for me, because everything is connected. I've talked about this. And the consciousness of these plants and our consciousness merge together, and then they kind of like share code, they share secret messages. And it's like spirit saying, hey, homie, you get to forgive yourself for this shit. You've been holding on to this too long, or forgive your father, or, release this hatred for this friend, or like whatever it is, they're heart openers, because love, the universal light that connects everything, is in this medicine. And that's what it's bringing forth, is the medicine, so that the consciousness of the heart gets to open up. And I feel that we need each other, and we need the support of the earth and her medicines that she has to offer. We've got breath work, we've got the sun, we've got water, we've got the earth herself to like walk upon. We've got probiotic teas, we've got citrus, we've got, you know, turmeric to reduce inflammation, although I'm not allowed to say that because of the way the FDA is, but it's been shown to possibly maybe make you feel better. Like we have all of this medicine, and some are a little bit more potent than others. And so they're used less frequently, and they're used with in more ceremonial ways. Like if someone's out there just doing rape, like driving in the car and blowing it up their nose, that shit's weird. You don't do that. It's like you say a prayer, you connect with the plant. And if you look at any ayahuascarians, or those that serve ayahuasca, and those that take that medicine in ceremony, like you're not just sitting around hanging out in a room with your homies and drinking this medicine. There is prayer, there is song, there is tradition, there is an altar, there is a calling in of spirit, great spirit, the spirit of the medicine itself. Big intentions are set. And I share this because some of us need help, like me. Some of us need help um, helping ourselves. And I feel that plant medicines, when used in honor, can do that. I love cacao, and I really love rape. Um, I have a few others that I really have a lot of respect for. And I'm not trying to promote anything other than what is in the highest alignment for each of our own healings, in a way that is safe and effective and honoring, And I can see how this is like getting grainy because the light's starting to go down. So I'm hoping that the sun will stay up just a little bit longer. But, you know, I feel that anytime we can connect in love and allow more compassion and grace to flow through us, and it's safe and healthy for our bodies. It's safe for others. Um, I'm a fan of that. I really am. I'm like, let's do it. Like let's heal. I right before I left Charlotte, um, I was invited to um work with a recovery center and uh and possibly serve cacao. And even then, a lot of like, oh, but what if it's addictive? These people are getting off of drugs and they're getting off of alcohol. And yet I'm watching them go outside and, smoke cigarettes and drink their diet sodas. And I'm like, so they're harming their lungs, their liver, their kidneys, their blood, their neurological components, but we don't want to give them chocolate in a reverent way that supports the spiritual dimension of wellness. So there's still a lot of fear because there's a lot of not knowing around plant medicines. There's still so much. I mean, even the FDA is like, literally, you cannot say that turmeric reduces inflammation. You can't even say that. The FDA is like, nope, no, we can't say that. We can say to take Tylenol. And we can even put a warning on the box that says, will destroy your liver with the acetaminophen. That's totally fine. But we can't say to take a root that grows from the earth that happens to be one of the prettiest color yellows ever to bring forth some ease in the body. It's because the system sees what makes money and profit. And it's all based on big pharma. We know this. They don't make money off of the plants that we can grow, you know. They don't make money off spirit. They don't. And and that's the free thing that we have access to, is spirit. we That's what we're here as, to just keep forgetting and remembering more and more each day that we are that. So my invitation is, if you have had experiences where you have misused or abused, or maybe still are misusing and abusing or whatever, sacred plants, tobacco, chocolate, if you're me, like, um, caffeine, it's a coffee plant. It is a plant. And people will drink it like, I can't do anything without my coffee. That's addictive patterning right there. And yet we like glorify it. We're like Starbucks, it's pumpkin spice, whatever season. It's so cool. It's like, what? It's literally taking a plant and mass producing it in such a way that takes the spirit out of it and the medicine of it. When we look at the berries that grow from coffee, like the coffee berries, super youthful. It makes you youthful. Like if you like people that pick coffee and they get the berry juice on their hands, they have like the youngest hands, like the youngest looking hands ever. And once they learned that, they were like, oh, we need to put this in like face skin and products and stuff like that and charge $100 for a jar of face cream because it has coffee berries in it. That's nuts, y'all. That's nuts. I would turn on this porch light, but then all the bugs, y'all. I'm not gonna do it. You're just gonna see me get grainy. I'm sorry. I'm aware it's not cool. So thank you for feeling like an old MTV rock video right now. Hey. It's so interesting, huh? Anyway, my invitation is, whether you are or are not, or have not used plant medicines in ways that were not kind to the earth, forgive yourself. It's okay. You were doing the best you could. You were doing it to feel better in a time of discomfort. The screen is so interesting. I guess if I shut that door, let me try that. Hang on. Let's see if I can do this. If the bugs come out though, I'm done. Will it help? Let's see. Let's see if it does it. It's okay. I only have a couple more minutes that I want to talk. We'll see if it was like, ah! Anyway. But like, forgive yourself, right? Like, if you were like me and you smoked marijuana all the time and, didn't see that it's a sacred plant medicine, you can forgive yourself. You can do that. It's totally allowed. You know, some cultures drink fermented beverages, so it's like a beer. But it's not. Um, and they do it in like sacred ceremony, and they don't like slam back 40s. They literally drink a little bit of a fermented alcohol, and it connects them with the spirit of like the corn that it's made from. Um, and so like if that's in your lineage, and you've had an unhealthy relationship with alcohol, it's okay. Like, forgive yourself, and maybe start to form new relationships. So, like, whatever plant medicines you take, like, offer it gratitude, set an intention with it before you ingest it. Like, if you, um, take CBD or whatever it is that's legal, I don't even know. It's not a medicine that I use. Um, but like if that's your jam, and it comes from the marijuana plant or whatever is allowed, I don't know. Um, like offer it some thanks. Like, thank you, plants, for supporting me on my healing journey. Because when we are reverent like that, we tend to not misuse stuff as much. You know, if I only get, say, high quality chocolate, I get the 100% pure, it's a lot more expensive. I'm not going to eat the whole bar. I'm grateful for the medicine. The theobromine opens up my lungs. Whatever. I don't know what that was. Anyway, um, like offer gratitude for the plant that literally gave its life for you to feel better. So that's my take on plant medicines and the spiritual practices of it, and how we can like make amends on all the abuse that we have done to ourselves with medicines, using them as drugs, and reclaiming the honor and the reverence of whatever plants that we put in our body, and you know not use drugs, use medicines and use what the earth gives us. It's my take. So okay, I'm gonna go in because it's getting dark and bugs get really big and they fly right at you, like that one right there. Okay, I'm sending you so much love here from the jungle while all these animals and stuff are doing their thing. I'm gonna get off here now because they going crazy. Sending you lots of love. I will see you